It is Wednesday, September 7, 2016. Welcome to today's edition of the Government News Brief. In the news, President's 5B initiative reaches Region 3, hinterland health workers being trained to detect leprosy, and schools across the country to have adequate recreational spaces. Stay tuned as we bring you the details of these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Renetta LaFleur. Here now are the details. Bicycles, book bags, a bus, and other items were donated to schools on the west bank of Demerara as President's 5B initiative reaches Region 3. Delicia Haynes has the details.
100 book bags, 30 bicycles, 1 school bus in addition to a PA system and stoves were today handed over to various representatives of schools and the Regional Democratic Council as the Ministry of Social Cohesion expands on the 5B's initiative. Amna Ali, Minister of Social Cohesion, explains.
When I was at West Demerara Secondary School, I made a commitment to the children there that Region 3 is next, or it's on the list to have a school bus. And today we are fulfilling that.
Students of the Wales Primary School received book bags and bicycles, which will help parents to save money on transportation and other costs. Minister Ali continues to explain.
His Excellency President David Granger initiated the 5B's program because this administration believes in reducing poverty, reducing inequalities, and providing a good life for all.
LaVenture Secondary received 3 stoves to add to the Home Economics Department, while Potentia Secondary received a public address system. Parents and guardians of students receiving items expressed their gratitude.
It was good because the distance from the home to the school is far challengeable, so she could ride to go to her school.
I have 2 grandchildren going to Wales Secondary, primary, and 1 in 11 year, 1 in 10 year, and that's very great, and I thank the President for the donation.
Minister Ali outlined the importance of education and how the government is ensuring every child has equal access.
Education is high on the agenda of government priorities, and we are fully committed to ensuring that all children throughout Guyana have equal access to education.
The Regional Democratic Council has been given the responsibility of identifying the ideal route for which the school bus will give services to the students. For the Government News Brief, I am Delicia Haynes.
Health workers from several hinterland districts are being trained to detect and manage cases of leprosy. More in this report. Minister of Public Health Dr. George Norton says that the training, which is being held at the Palms building on Brick Dam, will create awareness and build the capacity of the hinterland health workers and at the same time boost the national leprosy program.
And I am pleased and I commend the organizers of this program for involving regions 1, 7, 8, and 9. Because as a result of this training, you who are being trained will be able to recognize, treat, and manage cases of leprosy early and prevent and/or minimize impairments.
The health minister explains that the 2-week training is important since it is necessary for healthcare providers to be equipped in detecting and diagnosing diseases and illnesses from an early stage. The health minister explains that the 2-week training is important since it is necessary for healthcare providers to be equipped in detecting and diagnosing diseases and illnesses from an early stage.
Guyana has eliminated leprosy at a national level, and the fight continues to have the disease eliminated at a subnational level. Although the country sees a small number of cases each year, there is no room for complacency, and that is a fact. We have a tendency of hiding behind that perception that yes, it's eliminated, we no longer have that sanatorium. The stigma is not as much as it was before, hence we become complacent.
This training is a collaborative effort between the Ministry of Public Health and the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO. The organization's representative, Dr. William Adugro, says the ministry's training for leprosy diagnosis, assessment of disability, leprosy prevention, and management and promotion of self-care are to strengthen the leprosy control program.
It's not to say that people have not been exposed to management of leprosy, but training like this increases what we call the index of suspicion. So that when you see a patient, at least you have that at the back of your mind that this could also be leprosy. Can I take a better look at it?
The leprosy program will extend its service coverage to the national level by facilitating early detection of signs and symptoms of leprosy in all regions, along with screening and reducing stigma of persons affected. The PAHO representative also revealed that in the last 2 decades, Guyana reported 31 new cases of leprosy. Renetta LaFleur for the Government News Brief. Whitewater residents are to benefit from the second phase of the Hinterland Sustainable Housing Project. We have the details in this report.
Whitewater in the Mabaruma Subdistrict Region 1, with a population of approximately 1,200 residents, has been targeted to benefit from the housing project. This community also benefited from the first phase. The project aims to improve the livability of low-income households in pre-selected hinterland communities, improve access to housing, potable water, sanitation, and promote women empowerment. Senior Community Development Officer of the Central Housing and Planning Authority, Donald Bess Bascom, reminds residents of the success of the last project.
In Whitewater, we were able to construct 22 full houses. We were able to replace 28 roofs, and I know that there were even additional ones that we did not count, because Whitewater Village has been one of the exemplary villages under the project. Your performance has generally been very good. You were the first community that we got started with under the last project.
The 2009-2015 project was the first state intervention specifically dedicated to addressing hinterland housing needs. Ms. Bess Bascom further explains the selection of the villages.
12 communities will be part of this process. 4 of them are in Region 1, and these include Whitewater and all the satellite villages that come under the administration of Whitewater. We're looking at Camwater, that is also in this Mabaruma sub-district. We're looking at High Macabre and Seaby in Region 1. And we have 8 other communities in Region 9 that we will be implementing this program in.
Minister within the Ministry of Communities with responsibilities for the Hinterland Housing Project and Regional Development, Don Hastings Williams, told the gathering at the meeting that during the project's execution, jobs will be created for the residents. Contractors for the houses will be drawn from the community.
That is what cohesive, empowered, and sustainable communities means. You must have local, economic, developmental activities right here in your community. That is what the Ministry of Communities is encouraging every community to do. When they're thinking about development plans for their communities, get everyone involved.
Representing the ministers in the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, advisor to the ministers Mervyn Williams says the administration continues to work for the development of the indigenous people and their communities.
It is about creating the environment for you to enjoy the full sense of your freedoms, your rights, your resources, your dignity, education, culture, and all that makes us indigenous peoples what we are.
Whitewater Tushau Cleveland D'Souza says he's happy that the village has been considered for another round of intervention.
We very much welcome it right now because we have people who are very in need of houses and they are living like with just a thatched roof. So they really need of a house to be comfortable.
The new Sustainable Hinterland Housing Project is funded by the Inter-American Development Bank through a U.S. $3.1 million loan. The project is follow-on to the Hinterland Housing Pilot Project, which saw 50 subsidies granted to the community. Azim Khan for the Government News Brief.
Schools across the country will soon have adequate recreational spaces through the Ground Enhancement Project. Details from Delon Sanko.
A number of schools countrywide are without recreational space. The Rector of Sports, Christopher Jones, told Gina efforts are on the way to address the issue. Additionally, the Ministry of Education, Department of Culture, Youth and Sports will make provisions for schools with cramped space through the Ground Enhancement Fund as early as January 2017.
Where there are schools with no ground, without adequate ground space, we will identify a space within that catchment area and upgrade that so the children from the various schools can use that space. That has already started. I think currently we are in Region 6 doing the same mapping, but Georgetown would have already been done.
The Grunget North Multilateral Secondary School will also be upgraded to facilitate East Rumbelt and other schools in the vicinity.
We will spend monies on parade ground to ensure that we bring it up to a standard of which the kids can use. So schools like Christchurch, St. John's, St. Margaret's, St. George's will use the parade ground because of the absence of ground in their own space.
The provision of the ground is a part of the government's effort to ensure that students become well-rounded individuals. Jones added that the enhancement of grounds will continue throughout the country. Delon Sanko for the Government News Brief.
Those are the reports we covered in today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on Gina's website and Facebook page. Gina has an active Facebook page and we encourage you to visit and like us so you can be updated as the news unfolds. All government and other information can be accessed from Gina's website and Facebook page. We encourage you to join us again tomorrow for another edition of the Government News Brief. Until then, I am Renette Lafleur. Thank you for watching.